Let's talk about the Amala ghost seller story. It's a story that is currently trending on the internet right now about a family of four that was said to have owned a restaurant in Alaja Road, Ayobo, Ipaja, Lagos State. It was said they sold Amala in that restaurant and it was said they had only moved into that neighborhood early 2022. Now, the general story is that they disappeared one day after people discovered that they had died in a previous location or in a previous place, and when confronted, the woman and her apprentice all vanished. Although there are many different versions to this story, but eventually a content creator on Facebook went there and took it upon himself to speak to a neighbor who was close to the family before it was said they disappeared. And this said neighbor gave quite an insight to what really happened.
We were even friends, as in I tried to extend kind of friendship since they met us in the compound, and I noticed a change in character from their mother first.
I'm glad this story is happening at a time where everyone is more aware and there are more people on the internet to document and go chase questions, because we've done a lot of ghost stories. Okay, not a lot, a few ghost stories here, and it was all back in the day where we had to rely on radio or NTA news. Now this is happening. More people are going to ask questions and trying to find answers for themselves. And thanks to this neighbor, we now have a deep insight as to what really happened to this family of four who owned the Amala restaurant. Were they really ghosts? And if they weren't, did they really disappear? And if they did, why are people saying that they were ghosts? Well, it turns out that there are answers to this question. Although the neighbor said that he does not believe that they disappeared, but he could admit that something was off with this family of four, and he understands why a lot of people, including his wife, think that they may be ghosts. So the family consisted of a woman who was older and supposedly or suspected to be the mother of the rest. She had two girls with her and a guy. It's not very clear their relationship, but from what we gathered, it seemed like they may be a family. But it was clear that there wasn't any male figurehead. It was just a woman and three other younger people with her who may have been her children or may have been her apprentice. And he said that they moved in early, sometime in 2021. So they've been around for about a year and a few months. And throughout the year, they were sort of close, and he had been seeing them. They had been running their business. People have been patronizing them. They were a thing there. However, their behavior started changing few months after they moved in. According to the neighbor, the family actually only rented the shop that was attached to the compound where this man stayed. Now, they did not have an apartment inside the house, although they had some of their equipment, like a table, which they put inside the compound whenever they want to close the shop. And then they bring it out whenever they want to open the shop. They also had their generator inside and thereabouts. So a few months after the family moved in, they were cordial with everyone, and all of a sudden they just switched and they stopped answering greetings. And I think this greeting part is kind of the major part of what was off about this said family of four, or this said Amala ghost sellers. The neighbor confirmed that the women and the people in the shop stopped responding to greetings. When you see them in the morning and you greet them, they would not answer. And they even went as far as telling people to stop greeting them. And this would play out when a customer came to their shop one time and had to tell the lady that, see, I can't be eating your food, and when I greet you, you don't respond. You have to reply me. And because of that, they did not serve that particular customer because of the greeting. That was one odd thing. Another odd thing that the neighbor said he noticed was, even when the weather was hot, citing that this family of four also lived in the restaurant. They did not have an apartment, so the restaurant was where they lived and where they worked. Early morning, they wake up and set up and they start selling. But the neighbor did say that when it was hot, so hot that he himself had to leave his comfortable house with windows to come out and sleep without his shirt, he would notice that this family of four adults still inside that building, sleeping comfortably.
But what caught my attention was that these four adults were sleeping in the same shop with the door locked, no window, and everything.
Which to me is quite odd though. And he also pointed out the fact that the building or the shop did not have any windows. So there was no light, there was no fan. It's odd how they got their source of oxygen. Another odd thing that the neighbor pointed out was the fact that his dogs were always barking at the woman and her apprentice, or children in this case. The neighbor made it clear that dogs are usually very friendly after a period of time if they consistently keep seeing the same person over and over again. For the 1 year and 7 months that this woman and her apprentice lived around their neighborhood and in the compound, his dogs were always barking at them.
About three 3 weeks regularly every day, even 2 weeks, dogs will get to know you. They will know that you live in the house. But these people, till they left, my dogs were always against them, always barking against
And
them.
dogs are very spiritual.
Yes.
He also mentioned that they spoke a very unique language that wasn't Yoruba. Maybe they could speak Yoruba, but among the four of them, they spoke a language whenever they did not want anybody to hear what they had to say. The man claimed that it was a language that he had never heard before and did not know what tribe it came from.
I have never heard it before.
So they
I
speak
have
different
never.
language within themselves,
Yes,
so that
yes.
for eventually if there's anything they are
Yes,
communicating,
yes.
you living around you
The
don't
language is
understand.
not even. It is not even sounding like a language.
Hey!
It didn't sound like a language.
Aside that, they seemed very regular. They still ran their shop up until New Year of 2023. And according to the neighbor, he had come back from crossover night with his wife and he saw the family running their business. Their generator was on. They were still selling. They were still active up until 2 a.m. in the morning. It was around 9 when it was daybreak that he got a call that the woman and her apprentice were no longer there, that they had packed and they had moved. And I think that was what a lot of people interpreted as they disappeared. It's not like they suddenly vanished. It's not like somebody came to the restaurant and recognized her from a previous life and then she disappeared with her apprentice. Although that could have been possible. It's not stated if people saw her pick or pack her things to leave. It was just assumed that when it was daybreak, they just didn't see this family there anymore. The shop was closed, nothing was there, no one was there, no one saw them move, no one saw them entering a vehicle, no one saw them carrying things out. They just did not see them. And that was kind of like the interpretation from the so that's pretty much the gist with this Amala ghost seller story, because other than that, there is nothing more to it. Nobody has been able to confirm whether or not people actually did come to the restaurant and saw them and then they disappeared. The neighbor who knew these people directly said that that was really not the case. But the truth is, how would he have known? Remember, he said he saw them selling and he went into his house to sleep. Maybe that did happen, because when it comes to a story like this, you kind of need different versions to be able to understand it. You kind of need different angles to see it. What the man saw was what he said. It would be nice to hear from customers who may have patronized her the last moments before they left. Because how did they suddenly just leave in the middle of the night? Or maybe they left around 8, 6, or 7. Or maybe their rent was due and they could not retain it. It was, after all, a new year. Or was it really possible that somebody recognized them from previous life? Or maybe they were of the habit of moving from one place to another. It's unclear what this family are about, or who they were, or what their names are, or where they went to, or where they came from. Because clearly not many people know these details. There is no original picture of them or no original photograph of anybody, including the woman nor her apprentice. So we are left to just our imagination. A name hasn't been mentioned, nor the name of anyone who worked for her. So is this story something that may be a case of the ghost? It's up to one's conviction. If you ask some people might interpret it as mental health, especially in the greeting aspect. Like, how do you really tell people to stop greeting you? Like, what kind of religion or what kind of culture or what kind of tradition rejects greeting to the point that you refuse to serve a customer because they insisted that you must reply their greeting? To the point you have to stop someone who greets you and tell them, stop greeting me. The greeting part is odd. Them sleeping in the house when it's very hot is still quite odd to me. But at the same time, some people are weird like that. Could it be a case of mental health? Could it be that this family had a mental health situation going on with them? Is it possible? Or is it possible that maybe they are actually ghosts? Because honestly, it's weird. But you guys let me know what you think. Do you think this could be a true case of the ghost story? Or do you think maybe the internet is just overreacting? Maybe they just got tired of staying there and they wanted to move, or maybe they saw a better place or had a better offer, or they made enough money to start a new life somewhere else, maybe rent an apartment this time around. Who knows? That could be the case. Or probably maybe they got tired of everybody greeting them Happy New Year. Maybe that too, because if someone can hit the good morning and the good afternoons, imagine what it must be for the new year. Probably they will come back once the old new year thing dies off. Who knows? Probably someone did recognize them from the restaurant and they had to jakba. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think this story holds water? Or do you think the internet is overreacting? So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment your thoughts. You can also turn on notification button should there be any future updates or any new story. You'll be the first to get notified. Thank you.